Jennifer Russell and Blaine Higgs did in New Brunswick, coming forth and being a team and saying, this is what we need to do.
You took your vaccine, you?
What's that?
You take your vaccine? You got your shot?
Oh yeah, I got both. And so...
you got your shot, yes or no?
Why do you have to know? Who are you to know?
See, that's the problem with these. That's the conservative. That is the conservative. You know, say, well, who has the right to know? You know.
Well,
this is O'Toole. That's what happens when you get that O'Toole.
Well, I agree that has hurt the conservatives. I think, you know, like...
I think handling it's hurt the conservatives. I mean, to be absolutely honest, why isn't it a constitutional issue? Because there's no criteria in the Constitution that says to run for office you have to have a shot. There are criteria. You have to be a citizen, you have to be a particular age, and you have to live in a jurisdiction. But there is none that says you have to be, you know, pink or Jewish or yellow or speak a language.
If you would have had this issue, what's that word again? Oh yeah, the internet. During the polio crisis or the Great Plague in the 12th century where 20 million people died,
right,
you would still have people saying, oh no, I'm not going to take I'm not going to take the vaccine.
We just dodged. It's quite a miracle what has taken place from the beginning to right now.
Right fast.
In other words, we came up with the disease just a year and a half ago.
Oh, no, I think it was China came up with the disease.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. That's another. We're here to talk about the election, but that's okay.
But anyway, the
Chinese came up, and then suddenly were attacked by the coronavirus, and then we had to.
And then we got the vaccine. I mean, science. That was an amazing and so effective that the evidence is just shockingly overwhelming. That the ICU units are filled with the people who didn't vax.
Yeah.
And the people who did vax are walking around leading normal lives practically.
Yeah.
They're practically back to normal.
The problem is under a capitalist system, you have to cut. And they cut so much in the healthcare system that every government was scared shitless once this came out. Next thing you know, the hospital would be overloaded. They'll say, where's our healthcare system? Because people just only go to the hospital when they need to. And that's what the capitalist system is. Cut. And that's what the government is scared. What's that? Make money, make profit, cut less
Well, down
workforce.
the States, you have a capitalist system. And yes, you have hospital closures where hospitals are needed.
I would suggest capitalism doesn't actually exist outside of the context of...
Look at Blaine Higgs. He tried to shut down those 3 hospitals or the emergency ward. So, you know,
a lot of it has to do with staffing. They can't get the staff.
They don't want the staff because it costs too much money. You know. But anyway, so this election... I'm not going to calculate because I did this.
So how do we get more money into the hospital system?
How we get more money? We tell the World Bank to all the interest we paid to go for the hospital will be set for 50 years. Simple as that. And our seniors, us seniors. I mean, we all, you know yourself, the last 40, 50 years, the seniors in the old folks home were treated like shit. And I mean shit. I mean, they clean their shit, but they don't really treat them with respect, and it's non-union and neglect. And now, suddenly, seniors, okay, we love you. I'd like to know who is the first politician that says, you know what, I know we can make some cuts. Seniors home. And we'll allow workers, non-union, to be in there. That's been going on for 50 years. Who would have thought I'd be a senior and talk about that? When are you going to go in a senior home, you?
We'll sign you up.
Well, it usually isn't.
You're about ready.
It takes an event usually, like a stroke. Or an illness. But I'll probably end up in one because I'm single.
Yeah.
You know, I won't have that extra person, you know, to sort of let you hang on. So if you need help, you still have your
Facebook. You can have your Facebook continue to bitch and complain on Facebook, and then no, you can't have no iPhone here, boom, or smartphone.
Have you heard of Tinder?
I don't know. Like, there's
my advice is get a picture out of an Eaton's catalog and put it on Tinder with your name. But,
Right.
So, sorry. Am I being cruel?
No, that's okay. You're conservative. What the hell do you expect? Be more cruel. And O'Toole never answered no questions.
No, I know.
And I will sit
surprisingly.
down and talk to the premiers. I will sit down and talk to the premiers. What kind of goddamn policy is that?
Well, the trouble with those interviews is they're all clips, and he knows that he's being clipped. Yeah. So you do an interview this long, and they show you this much.
10 seconds.
Right.
If that.
And they're going to look for the 10 seconds that's going to give them the biggest political impact.
Yeah.
Right? So while it is very difficult to listen to politicians repeat the same message over and over again and contain it and really box it in as hard as they can, it's for that very reason, because they get clipped and then they get a phrase or a piece of a sentence taken out of complete context.
Yeah, but what about the weapons?
And
he just continued answering.
There's a
serial
good example.
rank and number. Serial rank and number. That's all he was doing with the weapons, the shooting, and all that. Semi.
You know, and the funny thing about it is, you know, even though what you say is reasonably true, and I did sort of notice that, it didn't affect me. I'm like, what's this election about anyway, in the first place? You know, like, there was no build-up to it. There's, you know, you need some anticipation.
What do you think of Trudeau coming in here and leaving the same hour?
Well, again...
When was he here?
He was here on Friday,
he
Thursday.
Was,
where at? Where did he land?
Pickeroons. But they always do that. They come and they don't invite the whole...
Well, the reason is...
security.
They didn't want the gravel guys there.
And the gravel guys.
Right?
There's no gravel pit. There's no gravel pit here in Fredericton, is there?
They can put it in their pocket. The thing is they to control the optics, they have to just bomb drop it and say,
but
because once the enemy, let's say, knows where you are, they know where to go.
So it's like Robert Kennedy when they were protesting, or John Major. Remember him as John Major?
Prime Minister.
When they were, I seen Bernard Lord in there, and I told Bernard, I said, listen, Bernard, are you scared of the protesters? Me and him alone?
Yeah.
And he said, what do you mean? I said, ever since the farmers in Sussex hollered at him, he wasn't the same after.
Right.
I said, remember John Major in British Columbia, Great Britain? He says, he says, remember he was on a soapbox and we're throwing eggs at him? I remember that. Yeah, and he won with a majority.
Right.
People respect that.
They love it.
It's just like Brian Gallant when he went.
I preached that to so many politicians to say. In fact, even it used to be like with Frank. It used to be like get some questions on Talk of the Town. I'd say, Frank, you do way better when the person who is against you is talking, rather than the person who's the president of the local Liberal Association
when he walked
and asking you why you're doing such a great job.
When he walked inside the crowd at QP in 1992.
Right, I was right there with him, right in the middle of them. Yeah. We loved that. That made him strong. We every nomination QP came to took over our meeting. Every single one, like they'd march in, they'd try to take over the microphone. We'd turn off the microphone. Bobby Davidson would get up and give a speech without his microphone, and we just sat there. We just asked Liberals to fold their hands and carry on with your business. Let them rant until they leave, of which every single time they did, because you can just whine for so long and then it's over.
It's just like Brian Gallant, and we're jumping here, but I'm sorry, we're blaming it on our ADHD. When Brian Gallant wanted to turn the bus around from Miramichi because those